Hi there. Let's get straight to the heart of it. Do you ever find yourself stuck in repeating patterns that don't make sense? Like emotional deja vu, you can't quite explain, but you can't escape either. Maybe it's that feeling of powerlessness when you're back with your family, as though you're a grown adult still stuck in the same old emotional web. You're not alone and you're not imagining it. Because sometimes the root of what we're experiencing isn't just one challenging parent. It's what happens when one parent is quietly enabling the other's dysfunction. Today we're talking about a pattern I've seen time and time again. The Matriarch Wannabe enabled by the Patriarch. It's a combo that's more than just the sum of its parts. It creates a force field around dysfunction that's hard to break through. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't about blaming or villainizing. This is about naming what so many of us have lived through in silence. Because once we name it, we can stop carrying it like it's ours to fix or to hide. So why does this matter? I'm sharing this not from a textbook, but from lived experience, my own, and those of many coaching clients who have walked a similar path. I see you. If you've had to navigate the tightrope of pleasing one parent while dodging the quiet demands of another, I see you. If you've ever felt unseen, unheard, or unsupported because both parents were wrapped in their own dynamics, I really see you. And in this video, we're going to unpack what actually happens when the Matriarch Wannabe is enabled and what you can do today to begin to loosening that grip it may still have on your life. If you recognize any of these effects in your life, comment below. I'm keen to hear your thoughts, and it will let me know which effects to deep dive into in future videos. And if you would like personalized assistance, there is a link below for booking a Mending the Mother Wound tarot-led coaching session with me. Also, stick around until the end, where I'll guide you through a gentle, eye-opening exercise that can bring clarity and direction to your healing journey. Okay, let's dive into a breakdown of the kind of impact an enabled matriarch wannabe can have on their children during their childhood and throughout their later life. The first area is amplified dysfunction and entrenchment. When the matriarch wannabe is empowered by the silent or complicit support of the patriarch, dysfunction doesn't just stay, it deepens. It embeds itself into the family structure. Here's how this often looks. The first way is reinforced control. When one parent holds all of the power and the other either quietly agrees or looks away, a message gets sent loud and clear. This is the way things are. Children in these families quickly learn that pushing back or even speaking up comes at a cost. Over time, in many cases, the matriarch wannabe's rules and worldview become the family gospel. Her moods dictate the emotional weather. Her needs come first. And anyone who questions it feels the full force of emotional rejection. The children learn it's safer to shrink, to silence themselves, and to stay small. As an example, Susan's mother controlled the emotional tone of every family gathering through subtle guilt trips and last-minute emotional outbursts. Her father's response? Let's just do it to keep mum happy. That phrase reinforced the idea that peace meant submission and compliance meant love. In a balanced family, two parents offer checks and balances. They soften each other. But in this setup, they form an unshakable wall. Two voices reinforcing one narrative, leaving the child with no safe place to turn. It's like arguing with a locked door. There's no comforting parent to run to, no one who'll say, I see you. Just the echo of silence, or worse still, mockery. That's where the true loneliness sets in. It leaves the children voiceless, trapped. David's mother's constant criticism was like a dripping tap eroding his confidence. But when his father turned these criticisms into dinner table jokes, it stopped being just criticism, it became family truth. David's sense of self never really stood a chance. When no one challenges unhealthy behavior, it grows. What started as subtle manipulation can morph into emotional blackmail. The matriarch wannabe may demand constant updates, complete emotional allegiance, or obedience that feels more like servitude than love. And because no one dares to stop her, the family learns to tippy-toe, to appease, and to sacrifice themselves on the altar of keeping the peace. The second major area is the impact on children's development. Children growing up in this dynamic don't just grow out of it. It shapes how they see the world, their worth, and what love and safety even means. Some of the long-term effects include loss of autonomy. Children raised in this dynamic often don't know who they are because who they were wasn't welcomed. Their choices were criticised, their ideas minimised, their dreams dismissed. For many, over time, they learnt that it's safer to become who their parents wanted them to be rather than to risk truly being seen. As adults, they may still struggle to make decisions, trust their instincts, or even answer simple questions like, "What do you really want?" Living in a home where love is conditional, based on obedience, performance, or emotional caretaking, teaches a child that the world is unpredictable. They grow up always waiting for the next emotional landmine. This deeply rooted anxiety can show up later as overthinking, people-pleasing, and the haunting belief that they're not enough, no matter what they do. In many of these families, big feelings from the children are inconvenient or even punished. Children can learn to shut down their emotional truth to survive. Joy becomes muted, anger gets swallowed, sadness is hidden behind a smile. By adulthood, they feel numb or detached, wondering why connection feels so hard, or why they sometimes explode from years of suppressed emotions. When the people you were supposed to trust controlled, dismissed, or neglected you, it becomes hard to believe that love can be safe. These children may carry deep relational wounds into adulthood, struggling to open up or attaching to those who continue the pattern of emotional unavailability or control. Safety feels foreign. Chaos feels familiar. These children carry invisible chains. They feel guilty for having boundaries. They feel ashamed for wanting something different. They worry that healing means betraying their family. These loyalty binds are powerful and often keep people trapped in toxic patterns out of the love that was never allowed to flow freely. The weight of these experiences isn't just emotional, it can be physical and psychological too. Many grow into adults who battle anxiety, depression, body image issues, or self-harming behavior. They can carry a constant undercurrent of emotional exhaustion and often blame themselves for not being resilient enough, never realizing they've been surviving for years in an environment that didn't nurture their wholeness. The third aspect relates to the enabling patriarch himself. We don't talk about this enough, but the patriarch suffers in this too. His passivity doesn't mean peace. It often means disconnection from himself, from his children, and from his role as a father. He may lose his agency. When a father consistently defers, disappears, or detaches, he fades into a shadow of his former self. He may have once had opinions, dreams, or a desire to lead with heart, but those qualities get buried under the pressure of keeping the peace. He becomes an echo of the matriarch's voice rather than a grounding presence, and the child who longed for his support learns that no one is coming to save them. Paul's dad always said he'd spend more time with him, but never did. He wasn't cruel, just absent. And when Paul looks back, he realizes his father's absence wasn't about time. It was about avoiding conflict with a controlling partner. And Paul felt the absence like a wound. Then we have resentment and emotional withdrawal. The enabling patriarch may look calm on the surface, but underneath he often carries bitterness for the life that he didn't get to live, for the partner he can't confront, and sometimes for the children who remind him of what he failed to protect. That resentment can leak out in subtle ways: sarcasm, avoidance, emotionally absent parenting, or even cruelty masked as jokes. We then have the erosion of respect. Children watch everything. They notice when a parent refuses to stand up for them. They notice when promises are made and broken. They see when silence is chosen over truth. Over time, admiration gives way to disillusionment. And for many, what hurts most isn't the anger, it's the grief of losing respect for someone they wanted so badly to look up to. The fourth area is long-term family dynamics. The damage doesn't stop when the kids move out. These patterns ripple forward into future families, future parenting, future generations. They can lead to intergenerational trauma. Without awareness and healing, dysfunction becomes an inheritance. The same dynamic often repeats, maybe with different characters, but the same roles. A daughter becomes a controller, a son marries one, the silent partner becomes the silent parent. The cycle spins until someone chooses to stop it and say, no more. Then we have estrangement and broken relationship. As children grow into adulthood, their innate desire for autonomy and a healthy sense of self often clashes severely with the entrenched control that they grew up with. This fundamental conflict frequently leads to significant estrangement, limited contact, or even complete cutoffs from the original family unit. These adult children often find that creating physical and emotional distance is the only way to build healthier, more authentic lives for themselves, even if it comes with immense pain. They grieve not just the connection, but the version of the family they wish they'd had. It's a mourning that's wrapped in courage. Then we have boundary confusion. If your boundaries were ignored, punished, or never modeled, you can grow up unsure how to set them. You might swing between overgiving and shutting down. You may say yes when you mean no, or feel guilty for needing space. This confusion leaves you vulnerable to toxic jobs, draining relationships, and a life that doesn't feel like your own. In essence, when a matriarch wannabe is enabled by a patriarch, he creates a powerful, often suffocating force within the family. This dynamic can be incredibly damaging, leaving lasting scars on the children's psychological and emotional well-being and perpetuating a cycle of dysfunction and control. For you, if you recognize any of these challenges, this may be why you're experiencing apprehension, dread, or maybe discomfort regarding these family dynamics. Remember though, by looking at how these dynamics may cause you discomfort, you are not betraying your family or being disloyal. You are gaining clarity on the effects on you so that you can heal and decide how you wish to proceed. If you've seen yourself in any of this, take a breath. This isn't about blame. It's about clarity, and that clarity is powerful. Here's a gentle exercise to help you begin. Number 1, map the key players. Write down your parents' names. Add your name, siblings, and any other significant people in the dynamic. Number 2, label the roles. Note the patterns. Who was the controller? Who turned a blind eye? Who kept the peace at all costs? Number 3, trace the impact. Under each category, like autonomy, emotion, or self-worth, jot down memories or patterns that reflect how this dynamic shaped you. Number 4, draw connections. Visually link the roles to the effects. You'll start to see how this seemingly invisible dynamic has real, lasting impact. This is not about blame, it's about visibility. When you name what was real, you can stop gaslighting yourself and start healing. If this video resonates with you, you might also benefit from a deeper look into your own unique experience. I offer one-on-one tarot-led coaching sessions under the banner of Mending the Mother Wound. You'll find the link below. If this information has been helpful for you, most likely it is going to be helpful for at least one other person in the same predicament. Help me spread this awareness by sharing, liking, and subscribing. And let me know that you found this information helpful by typing the phrase "true stones" in the comments below. I'd love to hear what landed for you. And stay tuned for future videos when we unpack the Matriarch Wannabe and your healing journey. Or here's a video that can help you with identifying if you have a Matriarch Wannabe in your life. I recommend you watch that one next. Here's to turning insight into healing and healing into freedom. Until next time, go gently.